Once upon a time, in the sunny, bustling village of Sundapur, lived three brothers, Rohan, Kiran, and Ayan, young and full of dreams. They all worked for a wealthy merchant named Harish. One bright morning, Harish summoned them. "I am giving each of you a piece of land and a bag of gold," he announced. "Use your time well and make the most of what you're given. How you use these gifts will decide your future." Rohan, the oldest, let out a hearty laugh. "Life is short," he declared. "Gold is for enjoying. Why save what we can spend today?" True to his word, he began spending his coins on lavish parties, enchanting music, and the finest clothes. He believed that pleasure was life's ultimate prize. Kiran, the middle brother, frowned, clutching his bag of gold tightly. "I can't risk losing this," he muttered to himself. "I'll wait and keep it safe. It's better to be careful than to regret a foolish decision later." He decided to work just enough to survive, and never daring to invest or take a chance to grow his wealth. But Ayan, the youngest, knelt humbly under a sprawling banyan tree and whispered a quiet prayer. "Lord, please help me use this gift wisely. Each day and each coin has a purpose. Guide me so that my work helps many people, not just myself." With a clear mind, he began to plan. He spent some of his gold on quality tools, good seeds, and a few small promising projects. He also made a point to help the poor and share what little he could spare. Days melted into months, and the brothers' choices began to shape their destinies. Rohan's land initially showed promise, but his focus was elsewhere. He threw grand parties that lasted for days, rode magnificent horses, and filled his home with luxuries, all while his crops withered and his soil turned dry from neglect. Kiran's land remained just as it was on the first day, empty and now overrun with weeds. His overwhelming fear of failure had paralyzed him, stopping him from taking any action at all. He barely worked, his potential lying dormant along with his unused gold. Meanwhile, Ayan worked tirelessly from sunrise to sunset. He studied the land, learning its secrets. He worked alongside his laborers, sharing their burdens and their triumphs. In a small worn notebook, he meticulously tracked every seed planted and every coin spent. Every morning, without fail, he would thank God for the opportunity and set aside a portion of his earnings to share with those less fortunate. Slowly but surely, his fields turned to vibrant green, his livestock multiplied, and his simple home began to feel abundant. Yet, through all his growing success, he remained humble and grounded. One warm evening, the three brothers found themselves together near the gentle river that flowed between their lands. Rohan, ever the showman, boasted loudly, "Look at my wealth. I spent my gold on pure pleasure, and I've enjoyed every single moment. What good is gold if not to spend and live fully?" Kiran shook his head, a somber look on his face. "I kept my gold perfectly safe. I didn't risk a single coin. But my land is empty, and I have nothing to show for it. Still," he added defensively, "at least I didn't lose what I was given." Ayan listened to them both, and then spoke with a calm, steady voice. "Rohan, your gold brought you happiness for a short time, but that kind of fleeting joy can't last. Kiran, your fear kept your gold safe, but it also kept it from growing. It has done no good for you or anyone else. I chose to work steadily, day after day, using what we were given to help many. That, my brothers, is what I believe to be true wealth." Rohan scoffed, annoyed. "You are far too careful, Ayan. Life is short." Ayan smiled gently. "Yes, life is short, but that doesn't mean it should be useless. Time and gold are precious gifts. What is wasted can never be recovered, and what is hidden away can never help anyone." Years passed. Rohan's reckless spending and neglect caught up with him. He lost most of his golden land, his wealth squandered on fading memories of pleasure. Kiran remained poor, a prisoner of his own fear, with nothing to show for his life but the same bag of untouched gold and a field of weeds. But Ayan's land thrived. His fields were bountiful, his animals were healthy, and he became known throughout the region for his fairness and boundless kindness. He continued his daily routine, praying each morning, thanking God for his blessings, and generously helping the poor. One day, Harish, the old merchant, returned to Sundapur. He walked through the village, his wise eyes taking in everything. He stopped at each brother's land to see what had become of his gifts. When he reached Ion's flourishing estate, he nodded with deep approval. "You have understood," he said warmly. "You used your time and gifts well, and they have multiplied. You worked not only for yourself but for the good of others. That is true wisdom." Then he turned to Rohan and Kiran, his expression stern. "Rohan, you chased fleeting pleasure and lost what could have been your foundation. Kiran, you were paralyzed by fear and as a result achieved nothing. Let this be a lesson to you both. Time and gold, when used wisely, bring growth and blessings. But when they are wasted or hoarded, they bring only regret." The three brothers bowed their heads, each finally understanding the weight of his own choices. And so, my friends, the story of the three brothers holds a timeless lesson for all of us. Use your time, your talents, and your resources wisely. Work hard, be kind, help others, and make the most of every gift you have. That is the true path to growth, fulfillment, and lasting happiness. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.